Hey guys, like I said in yesterday's video, I am just making this video to give you an update on the Norwich case. And sadly, if you've seen my previous video, it turns out that my suspicions were correct. We now have the autopsy reports of the two girls, and I'm just going to correct what I said yesterday because apparently the police got the wrong information when they released it. So one of the girls, she was 8 years old, and the other girl was 12 years old. In the other articles, there was mentioned that one of the girls was 9 and the other was 12. So the correct age is one was 8 and the other girl was 12 years old. So according to a Daily Mail article, I have read a lot of articles around this case yesterday because I was waiting for the autopsy reports. So I just wanted to make sure that I get the information right. And throughout the day yesterday, including last night, during the night, I was trying to see if there is any more, any more information out there. And I think that it's pretty much... I think that this is pretty much everything for now. So the police are treating this as a triple murder-suicide. Sadly, I was correct in my assumptions. And all four of them died of stab wounds, sadly. The police said that the deaths of Kanticha, who was the girl's aunt, 36 years old, Jasmine Kuzinska, the 12-year-old girl, and Natasha Kuzinska, the 8-year-old girl, they were all three treated as murder, whereas the death of Bartolomeu Kuzinski is not treated as a suspicious death. He was... found, so Bartolomeu was found with what is believed to be a self-inflicted stab wound to his neck. So he basically slit his own throat after he killed everybody else. And again, there is a confirmation that yes, Bartolomeu called 999 at 6 in the morning, saying that he was confused and he was very concerned about his mental health state. And he was told over the phone by the officers that he needs to seek medical help himself, which begs the question, in my opinion, if you are calling to say that you are confused and you are worried about your mental state, then why would the police rely on you to be the one to contact the health services, right? Do you get what I mean? I mean, I've seen one of the comments on my YouTube channel on the other video that I just posted yesterday that yes, the police forces, they don't have enough resources and they don't respond to a lot of these mental health cases. But I think that there should be a more comprehensive look at everything regarding mental health and calling for mental health and people calling about their mental health to the police. I think that there should be some kind of process where the police don't tell the person to contact the health services themselves, but rather maybe the police to send someone over from mental health services. I don't know, but something can be done about this because this man, he cried for help. He called for help at 6 o'clock in the morning saying that he's confused and he's worried about his mental state. And the officers sent him to seek medical help himself, which, if you think about it logically, from my perspective, from my point of view, if you are a person who is struggling with their mental health and they are confused and they are calling you saying that he's concerned about his own mental state, that means that, to me, that means that this person is not thinking straight anymore, and he might not even know, who to call or what to do in this situation. So I think that as a police officer, you should probably offer a bit more support in the sense that even if you don't attend the address, perhaps contact the health services, the emergency health services, and ask them to go to his address because he has a history, he's been missing, and so on and so forth. I think that a lot of things could have been done for this man, so this could be prevented. This is my belief, this is my opinion. And then there is another thing, as a side note, and also as a kind of just to see how men are treated differently than women when it comes to mental health support. I am struggling with my mental health. My husband is struggling with his mental health as well. We are both struggling, and we are both in the same position for the same reasons. And I asked for help for my mental health support, and I got so much help. It's just unbelievable. My husband, he asked for mental health support, and he barely got any mental health support. The only support that he was offered was group therapy, which the issues that we are having cannot be discussed, cannot be talked about in group therapy. And he made it clear that that's not appropriate for him because he can't talk about those stuff in group therapy. Whereas me, I received therapy one-on-one for a few weeks, and I've referred myself again now to therapy, and I'm going to receive more therapy one-on-one. And my husband, even now, he's not receiving any at all. He's not receiving any. The only therapy they ever offered him was the group therapy and, mental health service support for men. As far as I'm aware, there is very, very little support for men available in comparison to the support available for women, which again, it's a huge issue, because even you as a man, even if you know that you are struggling with your mental health, you are asking for help for your mental health, there is still very limited options for you as a man, in comparison to mental health support for women. So I think this is another issue which happened. I think that that's the reason why this man was not getting so much mental health support, because there's barely any mental health support for men here. From my own experience, I'm saying, and from my husband's experience. I mean, I'm in this situation, so I see exactly how it is and what it is and what's being offered. So anyway, this was just a side note, because I think this is another part of the issue, of the general issue surrounding mental health and the support that you receive. So carrying on with the information that I gathered from a couple of articles. So yeah, he did call at 6 a.m. saying that he was feeling confused and he was very concerned for his mental well-being, for his mental state, actually, which I think it's even more important than mental well-being, rather than, for his mental state. That is even more concerning to me. So they carried the post-mortem examination on Wednesday, yesterday, on the 24th of January, of the two girls, of Natasha and Jasmine, and they found that both of the girls had knife wounds to the neck. So the other post-mortem examinations, which were carried out on Sunday, like I mentioned in my yesterday's video, they established that the girl's aunt, Kanticha, she died of multiple stab wounds to the neck, and Bartolomeu, he died of a single stab wound. So the woman, Katincha, he basically tried to kill her, and he did kill her by stabbing her in the neck. And then he killed himself. So he killed himself. He slit his throat. That's why in the post-mortem examination, the result was that he only had one stab wound and Kanticha had more than one stab wound. So he tried to kill her. Probably he didn't manage to do it the first time, and then he carried on doing it until he was finally able to do it. Now, can you just imagine the bloodbath that was in that house when the police responded there? I mean, all of them died from stab wounds to the neck. The girls, they died from stab wounds to the neck. Kanticha died from stab wounds to the neck, and Bartolomeo, obviously, he slit his own throat. So I am just, it's not, I don't even know how to put this, but there are so many other ways that at least the girls, come on, they were only 8 and 12 years old, there were so many other ways that they could have died of. Obviously, they shouldn't have died at all. Obviously, that's, you know, the obvious thing. But considering that they had multiple stab wounds to the throat, to the neck, that means that they suffered before they died. That means that they knew their own father is killing them, and they didn't die from one try because they had multiple stab wounds. That means that they were stabbed over and over before they actually died, which must have been horrifying for these two little girls to leave this earth knowing that your own father is killing you and making you suffer before you die. It's just heartbreaking, really. It is. It really is. So after all the autopsy examinations, the police concluded that it was a triple murder-suicide. And the incident, like I mentioned yesterday, was referred to the IOPC because of Bartolomeo's prior phone call at 6 a.m. and the police contact at the address on December 14th, after Bartolomeo was reported missing. Remember, I said that he already had dealings with the police in the sense that the police was already aware of him and of his mental state. So the IOPC's Charmaine Arbuin said earlier this week that Norfolk Constabulary established that the man made a 999 call to the force shortly before 6 a.m. on January 19. And during the call, the man expressed concerns for his own mental state, saying that he was confused. He was then advised to seek medical advice, and police didn't attend. At around 7 a.m., the force received a call from a dog walker concerned for the welfare of those within the home. I'm not sure why he was concerned, unless he either saw something, heard something, you know, something got his attention and got him to be concerned. This is what I think. Obviously, these information are not public, but they probably won't be public. I mean, this dog walker, he wasn't named either. So I'm guessing that they are keeping this for the investigation to, you know, preserve the investigation. But my guess is that this dog walker somehow knew that he needs to call, and he somehow knew that, you know, he needs to be concerned for the welfare of the people in the house. Either that maybe the door was open, or maybe that the girls were meant to be getting ready for school and they were not ready. I have no idea. There can be so many different things. Or maybe somebody heard something and then they were talking to each other, you know, the neighbors or stuff like that. Or maybe someone saw something through the window. I have no idea. We can just speculate, you know, on this. But anyway, the point is, and the fact is, that this dog walker, he called police at around 7 a.m. being concerned for the welfare of those people within the home. Then the officers attended shortly at around 7:15, and they found everyone in the home dead, unfortunately. And the IOPC also said, following a mandatory referral from the force, we have decided to investigate and will be examining if the force's handling of the contact they had with the man was appropriate and in line with force policy, training, and procedures. We will be making contact with the families of the deceased to explain our role. Our sympathies are with the families and friends of the deceased and all those affected by this incident. Norfolk Police received a 999 call from Mr. Kuzinski at around 6 a.m. on Friday, but resources were not deployed. They finally responded after a second call around 1 hour later from a member of the public who wanted to raise a concern about the people inside. Officers then arrived at 7:15 a.m. and broke in the home to find the bodies of Mr. Kuczynski, who was from Poland, born in Poland, his daughters and their aunt, who was from Bangkok, Thailand. The girl's mother, Nantaka Kuczynska, was actually at her job as a caretaker at the time. And Kanticha's best friend, the girl's aunt's best friend, Nati Wathanakul, confirmed that Bartolomeu Kuczynski, he had a mental health issue and he had given up his job. So it was quite serious, his mental health issue. But she said that they don't really know the details of his mental health issue. And she also speculated that it was possible Kanticha was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And possibly she died fighting, trying to protect her nieces. And she said that maybe she died fighting to protect her nieces because she really loved her nieces, and her friend always saw their pictures together. She is a single woman. She doesn't have any boyfriend. She doesn't have a husband. So she would spend most of her time with the girls. And the neighbors also said about Bartolomeu Kuczynski that he was suffering with mental health problems for quite a few months already. And he asked for help, although the neighbors didn't really know if he engaged with any kind of mental health services. And when he was reported missing on December 14th, the officers searched the woodland before they found him on the Queen's Hill estate. And they searched for him using drones and such. And then they took him to Norfolk University Hospital for him to get an assessment. But he left the hospital unescorted before the assessment was actually carried out. And according to Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital spokesperson, they confirmed that he was taken to the emergency department by the police on December 14th, and after a comprehensive clinical assessment, he was assessed as having mental capacity, and he then left the unit before being reviewed again by the team. The hospital trust doesn't provide mental health services with the responsibility actually lying with the Norfolk and Suffolk NHS Foundation Trust, but the A&E facilities can be used for urgent mental health assessments, which again, it's a whole other story because there are just so many branches and there are just so many services and there are just so many, they keep on sending you from here to there and everywhere and nowhere really. And it's just confusing for you as a patient or for you as someone who is asking for, mental health support, that you are being sent from one place to another. It's very confusing and it's also frustrating. And also, I can say from my own experience, it makes you feel like you just want to give up, because by the time you actually get mental health support at the end of everything, you are just exhausted by only trying to ask for mental health support. In my own case, it took, I think, more than 6 months for me to actually get mental health support, because I had to speak to my GP, I had to have an appointment with my GP, then my GP had to refer me to mental health services, then the mental health services, they called me, and then they said that they are just, giving me, they are just asking me a couple of questions, and then they will make an assessment of me, and then they will give me another appointment, and then I got another appointment, and then they did my assessment over the phone, and then with the results from my assessment, they send it to my GP, and then they offer me their services and whatever they can offer me, and then they gave me the therapy, and then after I got the therapy, I had to refer myself to be part of the therapy, and only then I got a therapist, and then I got 1 hour weekly sessions for a couple of weeks with a therapist. And then they made the scores and all of that, and they gave me the results, and I was put on antidepressants. But this was more than 6 months later, starting from the point when I asked the first time for mental health support. So this was more than 6 months later for me. So I'm sure that a lot of people, they can relate to that the process is not only a very, very, very long one, but also it's a very confusing one. And they keep, sending you from one place to another. I think that the best thing would be, from my perspective as a patient and as a person struggling with my mental health, I don't need to, I say this about me, I don't need to tell my story over and over again to 10 different people before I actually speak with a therapist to get help for my mental health support, for my mental health. You know what I mean? I had to keep on repeating the story, the same story over and over again, the same story which affected my mental health, the same story which I was trying to forget so that it doesn't affect me even more. But I had to keep repeating to 10,000 people. And only me having to say the same thing over and over again to 10,000 people, it was just exhausting. It was completely exhausting, and it made me feel even worse. So I think that there needs to be a different kind of process, because somebody who is struggling with their mental health for a reason or another, they need the support then. Yeah, I'm not saying in the next 24 hours, but come on, 6 months? With my husband, 2 years later, and he still didn't get any mental health support. The only thing he got was the group therapy thing. So, can we maybe make it a bit easier for somebody who is struggling with mental health issues to get the help needed? I get that that assessments need to be done and so on and so forth, but come on. In this way? And then if you apply for benefits with regards to your own mental health, and you explain to them as well your story again, and then again, and then again, and you say that, okay, I feel confused, and then you explain the whole story for the assessment of your health assessment for benefits, and then they write a report saying that, oh, this person was not confused. Oh, this person didn't forget. Oh, this person was very clear on the phone. They were not, confused or anything like that. But they failed to kind of think about the fact that you probably said the story 10,000 times over and over again, and it got in your brain. So you might remember it only because you've said it 10,000 times already. Just a thought. Right, I just wanted to move on to a few of the tributes that was left for the girls. Floral tributes have been left outside the house in Cotsea, while pupils at the schools the girls attended have been offered support. Dr. Roger Harris, the head teacher at Teverham High School, where Jasmine was a pupil, said that she was a really lovely, quiet girl who was always smiling, and as a parent you would be proud to call her your daughter. Dr. Harris and Matthew Cross, the head teacher at Queens Hill Primary, where Natasha was a pupil, attended Queens Hill Community Centre with the County Council's critical incident team to offer children an opportunity to share their feelings and provide extra support on Sunday. Mr. Cross, the head teacher at Queens Hill Primary, where Natasha was a pupil, he said that Natasha was the kind of child that any teacher would want in their class. She arrived every day with a smile on her face, and she was committed to all aspects of school life. Natasha enjoyed sharing her love of reading with many of our young pupils and was always there to help others across the school. She approached her learning with pride and curiosity while enjoying coming to school, spending time with her friends and making them laugh. And before I go, I would like to show you a video.
The male has been found at the address aged 45, a female aged 36, and 2 young children who are both girls. We do believe they're all family members at this time. 3 of the persons are believed to reside at the address, and another one not permanently.
This is Jasmine and Natasha. And this is their aunt. And here is the dad with the girls. And it's just so sad, and it's just so heartbreaking, and I keep thinking about these 2 little girls, how terrified they must have been. They've seen everything. They knew who was doing this to them. They knew that their father was doing this to them. And again, I'm saying it's heartbreaking, and it's such a shame, and it's infuriating at the same time, because I fully believe that if the police would have attended the address at 6 a.m. when Bartolomeo Kuzinski called them, these deaths could have been prevented. Thanks guys for watching, and take care, and just please keep in mind and bear in mind that if someone is asking for mental health support, that means that they really do need it. Thanks guys, bye.
I've been the vicar here for just over a year. It's a very close-knit community, and providing opportunity for people to come here, light a candle if they'd like to pray, to be on their own, to talk to me or someone else if they'd like to. Certainly a lot of people, I think, may value the opportunity to talk and look to support one another.